If you're playing through Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, then you've probably encountered some new skills, and that's what this video series is here to do, to break down the new skills that are available in Sunbreak so you know how they work and can choose if they want to be in your build or not. We'll go over what they do, how they interact with other skills, and some of their best use cases. Today we're of course talking about Rite, and this is one that we found very interesting because of course in Monster Hunter World and Iceborne you had the health regen augment, so we were really keen to see how this one works in Sunbreak. You'll be able to find this skill on the Malzeno chest piece as well as the waist piece. The chest has 1 point and the waist piece has 2. We haven't personally encountered this skill on any decorations or charms just yet, but it's possible that they could be in there and we didn't get lucky, or that it could come in future title updates. Let us know in the comments if you found any other ways to unlock these skills down below. So the description of the skill is that a portion of your damage dealt is converted to health when striking a broken monster part. At level 1 it activates the effect, at level 2 it increases the amount of health you recover, and level 3 further increases the amount of health that you recover from attacking. What this essentially means is that you can get to live out your vampiric fantasies and keep your damage up while attacking the monster. It essentially gives you passive sustain on your attacks so long as you're hitting a monster part that's already been broken. It's essentially a version of Malzeno's debuff but without the health drain. It's a very comfy skill, and depending on the weapons that you use, it can be very useful and very efficient to heal you while putting out a lot of damage. Bear in mind though that this move doesn't increase your damage in any way, and it does require the monster part to be broken before the healing takes effect. For this reason, you might not see it in some of the most outputting damage builds and mix sets that you can make, but this move is definitely for people who are struggling with sustaining while damaging the monster. Remember, if you never have to stop to heal, then your overall damage output will be higher because you can be constantly attacking. So while it may not raise your damage on paper, if you aren't having to stop to heal, it might raise your damage over the course of a hunt. And of course, it's a very comfy move to have because it will keep your health topped up as you battle. Once again, it's similar to Health Augment in Monster Hunter World, but it's more nuanced because it has that conditional part break requirement. An extra thing to note is that while it does say damage dealt, it seems to be from our testing that it's more tied to the motion values of the attacks rather than the damage numbers specifically that get output on your screen. This means that your damage may not necessarily need to be that high, but it will benefit from the higher motion value attacks for your particular weapon. At least that's something that we found out in our testing. Something interesting about the skill is that because it has that part break requirement, it will tend to work a bit better on weapons that have an easier time breaking parts of monsters with high motion value attacks. We've personally noticed that things like the Greatsword, Hammer, Switch Axe, and Charge Blade Pizza Cutter move all seem to have an easier time getting the most out of this skill because they seem to be able to break parts quite quickly and efficiently, and therefore benefit from the healing and the sustain a bit faster than other weapons such as the Dual Blades. What's interesting though is that on Afflicted hunts, the Blood Blight debuff and the Rite armor skill do actually stack. Let's talk about skills that work directly with this as well as ones that synergize with it. It's a little hard to test because of course you have to use this on monsters after breaking their parts, so you can't use it in the training room to test the specific damage numbers and healing amounts. But from our own testing, it does seem to benefit from the recovery up skill. But again, this is very difficult to test, so maybe take that one with a pinch of salt. Or let us know in the comments if you've gone to test it too and what you found out by doing so. As for other skills that synergize with this, of course Part Breaker is up there. The skill itself relies on breaking parts, so having Part Breaker in your mix set is of course going to speed that up and therefore give you access to the healing quicker. The late game skill Dereliction, as well as Gormagala's Bloodlust skill, both continuously drain your health in exchange for a variety of buffs. This means that Rite is great to have in conjunction with these, as it keeps you topped up in health while those skills are draining you, so it sort of helps counteract it. Recovery Speed is another nice one because it helps speed up the red damage that you've taken, which will just help take the edge off when you're healing. Resentment can work well with this too. It of course gives you a damage buff while you have red health currently in your health bar. If you're using this skill and you're continuously attacking, knowing that you're going to heal off of the damage means that you can afford to take chip damage and hits because you're going to heal them right back up quickly. But it means that when you do take that damage off of a monster, instead of pulling back to heal, you can keep attacking to benefit from the extra damage, heal it up to then get chipped again and repeat the cycle. Next we have to talk about the Dango skills because a few of of them will synergize with this. The Super Recovery Dango will give you recovery over time, while the Dango Driver will give you less permanent damage received, but also convert the damage you receive into red damage, which of course is also recoverable, and will stack with things like Resentment that we mentioned earlier. The Dango Shifter will heal you when performing a switch skill swap, which is a nice extra healing option to have if you plan to take this skill. Some things that we've noticed it didn't work with include the Dango Medic, which seems to only boost item recovery rather than self-regen recovery, as well as poison and blast weapons, because it relies on specific attacks to monsters' parts and not general damage that's dealt to the monster. This means that you won't heal off of the poison or the blast ticks of damage. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to click like down below to show support, and subscribe for all the other Sunbreak guides that we have on the channel. This is an ongoing series, and the last one we did was on the redirection skill, which is fantastic, so definitely watch that if you haven't already. The videos on screen now we think will be perfect for you, so make sure to click them to check them out and let us know what you think of them after